21 years ago today, the Space Shuttle Columbia broke apart just minutes before landing, killing the crew on board and scattering debris all across East Texas. KLTV7's Tyree White has more tonight on how this tragedy was remembered earlier today in Deep East Texas.
You always ask yourself, did I make the small incremental mistake that led to the accident?
February 1st is a day that many people in the country will never forget. For East Texas, it marks the day that the community of Hemp Hill came together. For the Patricia Huffman Smith NASA Museum, it marks a day to honor the life and memory of Columbia's STS-107 mission.
The community that supported us in bringing our heroes home, it's a very, very special place to be to mark this event.
The museum invited Brian Ewenson, Executive Director of Spaceport Sheboygan, to speak throughout the day. Ewenson knew the Columbia crew and worked closely at NASA during the purely scientific mission.
It was actually this part of the vehicle here on the left side where the piece of foam came off the external fuel tank.
The foam punctured a 14-inch hole into the wing where superheated gases caused the vehicle to break up, along with an experiment of Ewenson's that landed in Nacogdoches. Debris and the bodies of the crew were found by search parties.
We were able to recover over 85,000 parts from the vehicle in the local area, whether it be Nacogdoches, Hemp Hill, Sabine.
There were 7 crew members aboard Shuttle Columbia and 2 search volunteers who died in the helicopter crash. Ewenson says this day and the museum played an important role in educating the younger generation on the tragedy and how Hemp Hill brought the heroes home.
The coming together of the community and the nation right here in East Texas is something to be incredibly proud of.
Tyree White, KLTV 7 News.
And the museum has displays, artifacts, and scale models. They're open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon.